Hey techies, welcome and welcome back to kaetalkstech. I'm Kay, owner of K Infotech Consulting and Services. Let's talk tech. So this is going to be interview questions part 2. So I'm just going to jump right in. So another question you might be asked is, how do you prioritize and manage your workload, particularly when faced with multiple competing priorities or urgent requests? This is not an easy question, right? So another kind of version of that you might be asked is, how do you prioritize requests? So the way that I prioritize is urgency, um, um, company goals, and difficulty. So if I have an urgent request that is easy to solve and another urgent request is more difficult, even if the one that's easy is kind of low hanging fruit and it won't take long, I'll put in some extra effort, I'll get it done quickly, and then I'll work on the bigger one. So you want to say something like that. How do you manage your time? How do you manage deadlines? Well, I schedule everything. Like, I'm really, really good at decomposing projects, tasks, whatever, right? Because I was a development team lead, I know what has to get done in order to make the project happen. Even if I don't know all the technologies that the developers are using, I understand the process. And I'm the person who usually writes the work breakdown structure, whether I am the project manager on that particular project or not. So once I break down everything that has to get done, that's when my superpower of organization comes in and shines through. So once I break down everything that has to get done, I discuss it with everybody who's working on it, make sure we got those timelines, and I go with whatever they tell me as long as it's reasonable, right? I mean, if it's a little more time than I would think, I'll go with that. But we also have to think about the deadlines, and I'm constantly explaining that to whoever's working on whoever's working on what, and that goes for me too. And so I would try to move heaven and earth to meet the deadline that I've committed to, period. Right? So once everything is organized and broken down, then you just go to it and you work until you get it done. Um, they seem to like that answer. Okay. Another question you might get is, how do you handle tight deadlines? Well, that's a version of the question I just answered. Can you share a specific project you worked on and feel proud about? Now, the reason that this question is being asked is because they want to see what types of projects you like, um, what is your process, because after you say you're proud of it, you're going to explain why you're proud of that. So maybe you want to say, well, I worked on such and such a project. It was a really tight deadline, and the deadlines were very ambitious, and I was able to meet the deadline, and I had to learn new technology at the same time. So I'm really proud of the effort that I put in, and we were able to exceed the customer's expectations. So, right? So something like that. Because you're showing that you're willing to put in the work and that you have the wherewithal and you will take the initiative to learn new things. That might show itself as, that question might come to you as, can you describe a challenging problem you solved? Um, or it might show up as, what approach would you take when dealing with a challenging technical problem? Because they want to see your troubleshooting skills. Um, Another question you might get is, why should I hire you? Or why do you want to work here? Or what unique skills will you bring to the position? Those are all the same question because that's what they want to know. What unique skills do you bring to the position, and how are you going to make that manager's life easier, right? Because really, that's what you're there to do. So, how are you going to do that? How are you going to fill the requirements of the job and then exceed the expectations? Okay? So, that's what you need to think about. Another question you might get is, do you work best alone or as part of a team? Now, here's the thing. We are all part of a team. But the whole company is a team, right? And then we have teams within that team. Those are the departments and the divisions, and then we have certain application groups or certain value streams. So it's a team within a team within a team within a team within a team that's within a team, right? So you can never say that you don't work well as part of a team. But the key is to understand that each person on that team has to pull their weight. Each person on that team has their responsibilities and their accountability to the team to make sure that they are helping the team be as high functioning as possible. And so you want to say something along those lines that demonstrates that, right? You work well on your own, you work well as part of a team, but you understand that every person on the team has to pull their weight. And you certainly want to make sure that you are always doing everything you can to make the team successful. Okay? You know, another almost kind of version of that I see sometimes is, and this is a new question I've been seeing lately. Which group is more difficult to work with, right? Actually, I guess that's not a version of that. That would be more of a version of, how do you work with difficult X? How do you work with difficult developers? How do you work with difficult stakeholders? Which group is more difficult to work with, developers or stakeholders? Or if you're a developer, they might ask you a different version of that. Who's more difficult to work with, project managers or business analysts or something like that? And so I tried not to pick either, but they really pressed me on it. And the first time I just chose one and I didn't get that job. The second time I refused to choose one and I still didn't get that job. So I don't know, but I think that my second answer was better. And what I say is, I don't think that either group is difficult to work with. I think there are people who don't have information, who are behaving in a particular way because they don't have that information. But once you provide the information to help them see the situation better and help them understand the situation better, then that difficulty that they seem to be bringing to the table usually goes away. And so, yeah. Which I think as a product owner or a business analyst is a great answer. Okay, so I'm almost out of time, so I'm going to have to end here. I guess there's going to be a part 3 because I still have a few more questions I want to share with you. And I also want to tell you what you can ask at the end of an interview. So I'll do that in the next part. That's it. That's all I have in this part 2. Like the video, share the video, follow the channel, check out kaetalkstech.com, and be sure to come back here when we will again talk tech. Bye.